how traditional knowledge is so useful in understanding the floristic elements. Sometimes, as a taxonomist or as a forest officer, it becomes really confusing in the field when the plant has no flowers or no fruits. And looking at the phyllotaxy, sometimes you may find the opposite phyllotaxy. That is one distinguishing character. So here I would like to tell you one plant which locally it is called batta. And on closer look, if you see, the leaves are growing alternately. Means at each node there is a single leaf. They are not opposite. But local name is batta. And batta means stone, rock. Maybe because of the very strong wood, iron-like wood quality of this tree. It has been named as batta in Pauni block near Shaktinagar. We are focusing on this tree, which is batta, and botanically it is Xylosma longifolia. Xylosma longifolia is named as Chundi in Ramnagar and Udhumpur area. But in Pauni area, Riasi division, this is called as batta, which is Xylosma longifolia. But similar looking plant, halaki there is lot of difference, both belong to different families. This is the plant which has been named as Kala batta. In fact, there is nothing to be compared as something blackish, except some kind of twigs. They may have some kind of dark color complexion. That is one thing which I would like to focus. If you see the stems very closely, it has shyam rang, thoda sa shyam rang, kala rang. Maybe because of that it has been called as kala batta. But this is entirely different plant. Here the leaves are opposite. They are growing in opposite decussate fashion. Means one pair north, south, another is east, west. So this is unique character. Moreover, as compared to Xylosma longifolia, which has smaller leaves and lamina is toothed. Here you don't have any serration or dentation on the leaf lamina. And leaves are opposite. So two batta and this kala batta can safely be identified in the field using this character of leaf arrangement. And moreover, leaf lamina is quite big. Leaves are elliptic in outline, and they have a slender tip, acuminate tip. And here also we find the flowers. Even flowers are totally different architecture. They are on the ramified, branched clusters in the axillary locations. So at many locations we are able to focus on the flowers, and their flowers are typically tetramerous. They have 4 petals, 2 stamens, 2 carpels, and this is the plant which we were looking for as a new report, rather new record for Jammu and Kashmir. It is being reported for the first time, and this plant is Chionanthus ramiflorus. And there was a time when it was named as Olea Roxburghi in honor of father of Indian botany, Dr. William Roxburgh, who started working on the nomenclature of plants while working in Calcutta Botanical Gardens. This particular plant was named by Dr. William Roxburgh as Chionanthus ramiflorus, whereas another botanist worker, Spengel, he named it as Olea Roxburghi. So popularly it is called as northern olive. It is also found in northern region of Australia. So it has been named as northern olive or native olive. Chionanthus now stands a independent genus. Rather, it has been taken away from the Olea. In Olea, we have in the leaf anatomy, we have the sclerids. Mostly the filiform sclerids are seen in Olea species. Whereas in case of Chionanthus, not only filiform but even other different shapes of sclerids have been reported. And this plant is seen very rarely in Jammu forest, and this is the first ever report by Professor Vijay Chandan, who is HOD botany, working in Government Degree College, Samba. And even I was accompanying him when we last spotted this plant growing very near to the roadside on a bridge. But at that time we couldn't identify. Now since we have the flowers, so we are able to pinpoint it. And rather it was Ashutosh Sharma from Himachal Pradesh who helped in its identification. And later H.B. Nathani also supported this. That this is first find from Jammu and Kashmir. And today we are also visiting this spot again just to have some specimens so that we are able to deposit the herbarium specimens in Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine of this unique flower and unique plant which is locally labeled as Kalabatta because of dark colored branchlets, and leaves look like mango leaves, but in mango leaves are always alternate, they are not opposite, and here the leaves are typically opposite. And this can be elliptic lanceolate, shape is typically elliptic lanceolate, although this is very similar to Xylosma longifolia which is simply called as batta or chundi, but here the leaves have serrations and you don't have the opposite phyllotaxy, the leaves are growing alternately or spirally. So this is the distinguishing character. Rather this Xylosma longifolia may be called as batta by locals. It belongs to earlier it was placed in Flocoriaceae, but presently it is treated under Salicaceae family, and whereas this particular plant is totally in olive family. So this is a one can say wild crop relative of olive. Olive which is under cultivation, and we use olive oil in our houses also as a medicinal oil, as a edible oil, and rather it has the much antiquity. Olive cultivation started in the Mediterranean region long back during Bronze Age also. There have been some evidence that it was the first oil tree yielding plant, that is Olea Europea. But that doesn't grow naturally in the wilderness of Jammu Kashmir forest. Rather, we have only placed it under cultivation in Ramban area and Central Institute of Temperate Horticulture, Rangret, Kashmir. And this particular plant, which is a new record for Jammu and Kashmir, is Chionanthus ramiflorus. Earlier it was sometimes back also named as Linosyra ramiflora. Although the Linosyra species are mostly just like Chionanthus, except they have the deciduous leaf condition. Leaves are shed because they are located to the temperate locations. Whereas this is a tropical or subtropical species, so it is Chionanthus ramiflorus, and many botanists don't agree with the segregation of Linosyra and Chionanthus. So here we see the flowers are inconspicuous, they are not much conspicuous, but they are typically 4-petaled and only 2 stamens per flower. So this is a tetramerous condition. So we are also, we will like to show you the twigs of both. First you will see Xylosma longifolia. Your name?
My name is Arshad Hussain.
Arshad Hussain ji हमारे साथ हैं. So he will be showing the 2 twigs. You just keep them apart so that I am able to. So this particular twig is of Xylosma longifolia, where at each node we have simple leaf, single leaf. They are not opposite. Whereas in case of this Chionanthus ramiflorus, the leaves are typically arranged in a opposite fashion, and there are flowers which have been arranged on a axillary branched stems. So this ramiflora is because of this branched inflorescence peduncle. So this got its name as ramiflorus. And leaves being opposite, this belongs to a jasmine family or the olive family plant. It has nothing to do with the Xylosma longifolia, which is entirely a different plant from the family Salicaceae. Whereas this is a jasmine family plant or a olive family plant. Olive is called popularly jatoon, and jatoon ka tel is very medicinal, edible, and it is a very economically very important species. But Chionanthus ramiflorus is totally new plant, and even we have this time with us Dr. Harish Dutt, who is busy in clicking the photograph of the same plant, which I was referring. If you can show us something unique. Have you ever seen this plant earlier in Jammu and Kashmir?
No, I have not seen this plant earlier in Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay.
This is really a fascination for me. I am seeing the two types of the flowers on this plant. Basically, the flowers are in white and they are also in maroon color.
Okay.
So most probably they belong to the two different.
Either I think maturity also determine the color variation.
No,
Early flowers and
No, I think some of them are only male flowers.
okay.
And some of them maybe they are having both the sexes are with one sex only. It needs to be further used.
So this is first ever I think sighting by our
Yes.
team, and this is Chionanthus ramiflorus. So it is better to have its specimen so that you can deposit in University of Jammu.
More or less, further investigations are required in
Okay.
this plant because it is really very astonishing that there are the two different types of the flowers on the plant.
Oh,
Just you
this
can-
observation.
On the same inflorescence, we are having the white flowers. On the same inflorescence, we are having the maroon color flowers.
Okay, okay. So these two different colors are being seen by Dr. Harish Dutt. So definitely this is a new species and we are seeing the flowers for our first time in this ravine. The area is very ravenous. You see the water is flowing. So this is a kind of a plant which is restricted to the amphibious habitat. Not strictly speaking in water, but definitely beside the brooks and streams, hill streams, we find this, and you see the traditional wisdom also, where they are able to differentiate two trees, Xylosma longifolia under the name Batta and Chionanthus ramiflorus under the name Kala Batta. So that is the beauty, how our forefathers, they were associated with the traditional wisdom and they knew flora and fauna intimately. So if we see the what are the other associates of this Chionanthus, so one particular plant is which is called as Dudrada, Cisalpinia bonduc. That's a very spiny climber with golden yellow flowers. That's also growing in its association. Rather, we also have the willow, Salix tetrasperma, which is also growing in the vicinity. And not only that, we also have the jamun, which is Syzygium cumini. So this particular plant from a distance may look like batta, but again on closer examination we will find this is Syzygium cumini from the guava family. So its associates are one is ficus, two species rather. One is ficus racemosa, guller or rumbal. Another is gurumbal, or teduri or lana, which is Ficus hispida. Then we have the Cisalpinia bonduc, Dudura, and then Jamun, Syzygium cumini. So all around we even see the ravine situation, the growth of the Delvergia sisu. Shisham tali is also growing in the vicinity, and some other plants which are growing in association of Chionanthus ramiflorus. Xylosma longifolia is one, and even Pyrus passia is there, and we have this Ficus hispida, and even the some plants of Tuna ciliata, and even Melotus philippinensis, and even Asparagus ascendens.